we live?
Yes.
Okay, awesomeness. What is happening while you guys are still joining? I'm waiting for a code from TikTok. It kicked me off this computer.
Uh-oh.
Etienne.
Yeah, that's all my article. I'd say,
Mm.
uh-oh.
Oh. I think let's try and send it again. Okay. Does it send it on SMS? No,
Yes.
not today. Okay, let me restart. 25426659. Okay, let's try log in again. Are people joining
Yes.
while I'm busy typing in my number? It's on their way to Durban. Durban and all to Little India. Let's see if the code comes through now. If it doesn't, it's okay. We'll just push through and then you must just screenshot the messages for me, please. The rest of the platforms also on.
Ja, ons is nou op 87 op TikTok.
Alrighty. So I'm going to quickly jump into last week's questions that we didn't get to, and then we'll kick it off from there. Right. Before we do that, let me just speak on something that keeps on coming up. So the one question that I get almost on every live is, this is my score. Can I get approved for a vehicle if I have this score? 632, 589, 650, 670, whatever the score is. And the reality is, um, basically it doesn't really matter what your score is. And I'll explain why in short. So let's say, for example, your score is 800 or 870. We had a decline on an 870 score recently, as recent as about a week and a half ago. We had a decline on 870. So I'm going to just hit on the three things that matter most when it comes to approval. And the third one splits into two. So it's your affordability. 30% of gross may go towards a car. So if you earn 20K, 6,000 may go towards a car. That's the one rule that we can't jump over. The next rule is how much over retail is that vehicle, which means if retail on the car is 200,000 rand, the banks approve easily on about 20% over retail. They start getting sticky if it's 30%, and then very sticky on 40% above retail. So if you're a low scoring customer in the 600s, it's not easy to get you approved on 140% of retail. So that's the second challenge. And the third challenge is the risk. So the risk profile is where your score matters. And then the vehicle, the older the vehicle, the higher the risk of that specific car getting approved. Because if the bank has to repo it, how easily can they get their money back? The principal debt, meaning how much you owe the bank on an auction. So if they have to repo it, Westbank comes and fetches your car, and then they put it on the Westbank auction. How easy is it going to be for them to actually recover the debt that you owe? And then there's a fourth layer, and this is where it gets confusing for boys and girls that have an extremely high ITC score and they still get a decline. It's called disposable income, DI. Disposable income is after all your debt is paid. So everything is paid for. Everything is paid for. Your cars, your house, the kids' school fees, everything is sorted and taken care of. How much money is left in your account as disposable income for you to service the new loan? So you have an 870 ITC score, nearly perfect, pays everything on time, everything is sweet. Wants to buy, maybe earns 50K a month. So 15K is the affordability, 30%. But after everything is paid, there's only 7,000 Rand left in his account because he's got another car. Typically, the bank will then ask you to either settle a car or buy a lot cheaper so that your disposable income is enough to take care of the actual loan that you have to pay. So I'm going to start off with that. If you have any questions, anything about car finance, motor industry, whatever you want to ask me. This is why we do these. We want to leave you better than we found you, and we are indeed available and ready. So you're welcome to shoot.
Would you recommend cash buys or finance buy?
Oh, obviously, if you can pay for the vehicle cash and you don't need the funds for anything else, you're going to take a depreciation loss either or, whether you buy it cash or finance. If you buy it with finance, obviously the depreciation is going to be bigger because there's interest involved. And you can't really get out of the car before 3 years. So 32 to 36 months is more or less the perfect time where you can come out of this vehicle into the next vehicle. If you buy it cash, you can get out of it at any time. The quicker you get out of that specific car, the less money you lose. So that's how it works. Any other questions? If you guys have kick-ass questions, I'm indeed. Uh, okay, open a branch in Durban. My mum's in Toti, to be more specific. Tammy, we'd love to. We'd love to, Tammy. Absolutely love to. Brother, every time we go to Durban, we can just see our following is absolutely amazing there. It is, we see so much love from everyone in Durbs, in KZN. The reason why, the main reason why we haven't opened the branch in KZN or Western Cape is because of me. So I'm the one to blame here. And I'll explain to you my thinking. We have our secret weapon, which is the depot. And why it's a secret weapon is over the years, we've built out the depot to a 19,000 square meter facility. And the idea that we have with that specific facility is when a vehicle comes in, there's a certain amount of checks that gets done in sequence. So vehicle comes off the truck, we buy a Golf R in Durban. By the way, every Golf R we've bought in Durban and sold in Durban again, and we have to send it back. But the vehicle comes in on a truck, gets offloaded, goes to the depot. First process is condition report. So the vehicle's PDF, so the PDF file that the buyer used to obviously purchase that vehicle and note all mistakes that they've seen. So scratched rims, chips on the bumper, chips on the bonnet, it needs a service. Maybe the gear lever is worn out a little bit, the steering is worn out a little bit. Whatever mistakes, whatever faults we can find, it needs a service, it needs a DSG gearbox service, whatever it is. That gets done first. Okay, so the mechanical side gets done first, then it goes for interior. So we've got a team called Leather Tech. This is the same company that has a branch inside the BMW plant. So when they're building new cars, sometimes they nick the leather, they scratch the leather. Robots make mistakes as well. But they're the team that work on brand new vehicles. So they'll replace a panel, they'll do a steering again, whatever the damage is. So we've got the same company at our depot taking care of the interior of each and every vehicle. And then the vehicle goes into paint. And after it's done with paint, let's say bumper, bonnet, rims, whatever needs to be done, diamond cut rims, we do it on site. Then it goes for a final inspection where someone goes with a literally with a hair comb throughout bumper to bumper, number plate to number plate check. And then only does it go on the floor. Once it's sold, it goes for DECRA or roadworthy certificate, and then it goes for PDI where everything is checked again. So in order for us to come to Durban or wherever else in the country and maintain, and here's the key, and this is the difficult part that I can't solve yet, maintain the standard of vehicle that we deliver to you, our customers. That part is hard. So for now, we're selling about 40, 48 cars on average to KZN and about 60 cars on average to the Western Cape. Other areas as well, Rustenburg, Bloemfontein. There's a couple of other areas that we deliver to, but we get the car in, prep it the way we know how, give you a almost perfect used vehicle, and then ship it off on the trucks and have it delivered there, washed, and delivered to your home. So that's the conundrum that we're trying to solve. It's very easy to say, let's open the branch, let's go, the branch is open, and we carry on with life and hope for the best. But I know for a fact, until we figure that part out, that no one actually sees, our quality will drop. And that's the last thing that I want to do. I don't ever want to be in a situation where we are forced to sell a subpar car, because that will reflect on our reputation, which we protect at all costs. We put that at way ahead of profitability, way ahead.
Benji from Facebook is asking, how many cars do we have?
We've got 514 today, as of today, 514. Any other questions that you might? Oh, there's more questions here. Sorry. How would you do personal marketing on a car salesman working by a Toyota dealer? So there's a gent. His name is Tulani. He was one of our students. So he came in for a mentoring program, I'd say about a year ago, and he's done other short courses with us that we had on offer. And Tulani is one of 14 salespeople at one of the biggest Toyota dealerships in the country. And he sent me a WhatsApp. When was it? Monday. I think I screenshot it and I sent it to you guys on Monday. I think it was on Monday.
Yeah.
Tulani, and he won the Toyota salesperson of the year award. So how do you market yourself? It's not a difficult task. It's just one that requires a lot of discipline with a lot of marketing and posting. And here's the key, and this is where everybody falls off the bus with zero expectation, which means you're going to do a lot and nothing will happen in the beginning for a long time, couple of months, but you're going to do a lot. So many times it feels like maybe the energy spent into this is not worth it because I could spend it on something else. But the key is to maintain consistency. And then eventually, it's not like a steady climb, it just climbs because eventually people start getting used to you. They're seeing you all the time. Brand is built, trust is built, validation is built, and then boom, it goes up. But it's probably a 90-minute conversation that we had with Tulani so that he can sequence each and every day what he needs to do, what needs to be done, how to follow up, how to ask for referrals, how to ask to be rated, and then all of that momentum eventually builds up to sales. So it's not a difficult thing, it's just a discipline thing. So it's not information as much as application. Having the having the patience to be patiently aggressive. So aggressive on your posts, but patiently waiting for the results, which take a minute. Next one, Uncle Bobby, how would you do post? Okay, that's the same one. I'm looking for a cheap car, only 30,000. Tracy, I don't have something. Sorry, man. Best time to trade in a car, bought new cash with 15,000 cash per year. So Blue Viper, Blue Viper. That's a cool profile picture of a Blue Viper. So Blue Viper, the best time to sort of break even, where you don't have positive or negative equity, is anything between 32 to 36 months. Now, because you drove very little, so the average South African drives 25,000 k's a year. Okay, you drove 15. Because you drove very little, you're going to have positive equity if you trade in within 32 to 36 months, which means your vehicle should be worth more than what the dealer is. Sorry, I got it twisted there. Your vehicle is worth more than other vehicles with average mileage because yours is below average mileage. If it's nicely spec and it's got good credentials, in terms of by credentials, I mean all the services are up to date. It's got the sunroof, it's got whatever it needs to have, and then you should be ROI positive within 3 years, 2.5 to 3 years, and you have some deposit left for the new vehicle. If you bought a car that's relatively popular. Okay, nice question. Do you make less money on cash sales? Morton Motor Mech. That's a great question, and I'm going to answer it for you the way that no dealer will answer it. I just want to try and log in here again because it feels like I'm looking at an empty screen. So, do you make less money on cash sales than you do on a finance deal? So, absolutely yes, a lot less. And I'll explain why. So, when it comes to financing a vehicle, we've got the back end part of the transaction and then we've got the upfront part of the transaction. It's split into two. So the upfront is you bought the car for 200, you spent 20, and you sold it for 250. Your first gross, we call it first gross and second gross. Your first gross on that specific transaction is 30,000 rand. Okay, that's your first gross. We did a Rumion now to a dealer. We did actually two Rumions to a dealer. similar type of profit on a brand new car. Now, one of my friends is standing, like literally sitting next to me while I'm busy processing this transaction with the dealership. He says, Uncle B, don't give them the car because you're losing backend. I said, listen, I can't say no to a deal. A deal is a deal. We need the business. We're thankful for the business. We're invoicing them. I think it's the third or the fourth brand new Rumion that they bought because there isn't any at the moment. No, but you're losing money. So I understand. Had we financed that vehicle, we submit to all the banks. Let's say it's a very good customer. Let's say, like, I'll give you a perfect example. Perfect customer, submit to the banks, 5 bank approval. So all the banks approve this customer. Sweet. Now we start putting them up against each other, getting the best rate for the client. Let's say the red bank is at 13, um, the blue bank is at 12.75, and the green bank is giving us the best rate at 11.75 or prime rate, whatever the rate is. We'll push them a bit for the DIC, say this bank is giving us this much DIC, deal incentive commission, lift up your DIC. Okay, they'll have a negotiation with the finance team and say, okay, we'll give you this much maximum DIC and keep the rate where it is. Okay, sweet. Now we find you as the customer. Say, Mr. Customer, 5 bank approvals. This is what the red bank offers. This is what the blue bank offers. This is what the green bank offers. Here's the offers. The best rate, the best transaction that we can give you is X. So this is the best transaction. It's not always necessarily that we make the most money on that. But if you put profitability before the customer, you won't have customers long term. If you put the customer before profitability, you have customers long term. So on the lowest rate, we'll make the least amount of money usually. Sometimes you're a FNB customer, private wealth. FNB wants to retain you. They'll give you prime and they'll overpay on the DRC on the back end portion of the profit. We'll have that discussion with the customer, but we'll send you all the deals up front. So here we've got 5 approvals. The best rate is this. Yeah, but I'm loyal to this bank. We have tried. Unfortunately, the bank that you want to be loyal to is at this rate. This bank that wants to be loyal to you is at a lower rate. I suggest you take that unless you want to pay high interest, because the last thing you want to do is be loyal to a bank. You must be loyal to yourself first. And if you are loyal to yourself and the bank that you've been loyal to for 20 years doesn't appreciate you, then they should lose you, right? It's not, I mean, there's no marriage certificate signed where you have to go with this bank because you've been there 20 years. Another bank sees your potential, sees your credit score, they offer you a better rate, you go with them. But on a finance deal, usually on an average car, let's say 275, 300,000 rand, usually the dealership will make anything between, on the lower end, 15,000, anything up to about 25,000 rand less than a cash deal, or on a cash deal less than on a finance deal. So if you finance a car between 15 and 25,000 rand, then the dealership will make more than if you purchase the car outright for cash. So I hope that answers your question in a way that you didn't expect. Okay, let's have a look at more. Okay, the next one. Let's say I'm left with 6 months and they repossess the car. Are they selling it like 26K that I owed? Okay, let's say I'm left with, okay, I understand your question. So the scenario is you are left with only 6 months to pay and you owe 26,000 rand. So if you're in that position, get out of the car ASAP because you've got equity in the car. So you go to a dealership, say, listen, I lost my job, I was retrenched, something happened, I had bills to pay, I cannot pay for this vehicle, it's about to get repossessed. Normally in a situation like that, it sits with legal and the dealership can't get the settlement like through the normal channels. They'll ask you to contact legal. Legal will say, well, we've been chasing you for the last 3 months. We've had to send lawyer letters, this, that, the third thing, there's extra costs. So from 26, it's now 39,000 rand. And your car's worth 100 grand. So what I suggest you do then, before you give them the vehicle, is you go and outright sell the vehicle for the maximum amount that you can. So you can go and get a couple of quotes from a few dealerships, and then you take the highest one. So you tell them, all right, this settlement letter is normally not valid for 7 days, but for 3 days when it's at legal. Normally, there are certain scenarios where you can extend it, but normally it's 3 days. So you owe 39,000, including all the other costs, and you're getting 100 grand for the car. Then the dealership will settle and then pay you out the balance. Don't let them repossess the car if you owe less than what the car is worth, because you don't want to go through that drama. If they do repossess the vehicle, yes, they will pay you out some money, but they're going to deduct even more cost, because when it goes to the auction, it's a cost to go and get them. Everything is a cost to the bank. So if you're in a situation like that, if you're currently in that situation, go get the settlement letter from legal, and sell your vehicle before it's repossessed and before you have that against you, because that's a toughie to go and manage. Okay, what are the questions? What is the best way to go about warranty and insurance for an old vehicle over 15 years with over 300 k's on the clock? Zanti Shai. Zanti Shai. Okay, so warranty and insurance. So the insurance is the insurance. It is market value. You tell them about the car. The car's market value is X. That's what you insured for. When it comes to warranty, it's a little bit trickier. So there's a couple of good warranty companies out there that do monthly warranties. The trick is they'll only start paying out a claim in 3 months. So the reason why they do that is they don't want customers to go and take out a warranty and fix their turbo because their turbo is not broken. So monthly warranty will typically cost you like $350. It's not a lot of money, it's cheap. But then immediately they have a claim for, let's say, 25 grand, and then you cancel the warranty because it's not fixed. So they'll typically wait for 3 months before they allow any sort of claim conversation to happen. They'll also most likely ask you for some sort of a DEKRA report to make sure that the vehicle that they are giving you a warranty on is in good nick and is actually roadworthy. There's nothing physically wrong with it now. The warranty is there to protect you in the future because, I mean, cars are built, they're not born. They will break. So when it breaks, then they'll come in and stand for that damage. But typically you wait about 3 months, 90 days before you can claim. And then an older car won't have a warranty that pays you out 100,000 rand for the engine. The warranty limitations will be quite strict. So it will most probably be like 45, 55,000 rand for engine repair, and then the other covers will be lower because of your mileage. So the higher the mileage, the less the cover. That's how they work. That 320D BMW is financeable on the website. If you're talking about the white one for 219,900, the answer is yes, but there will be a considerable deposit, probably in the region of like 20% deposit. And on the conversation we had in the beginning, because the car's an older model, retail's not very high, but the mileage is super special. I think it's got 100,000 Ks for that year model. We had to pay more to get the car. So now there's going to be a deposit situation. Depending on how strong you are as a customer, they might allow 140% of retail. But if you're not a very strong customer, 10 to 1, 120%. So if you do apply with us, we'll give you feedback. We'll say, okay, these two banks are willing to do the deal. For example, this bank requires this much deposit, this bank requires this much deposit. And the reason is because you are in a situation where equity is quite a bit higher than what the bank allows. But on the flip side, you're getting a car that will cost you about 500,000 cash. So the car is still fresh. Do your salesmen get a basic salary and company vehicle? So you sound like a salesman to ask me that. And I'm gonna approach your question this way. So our sales team gets a basic and no company vehicle. And the reason for that is we've done company vehicles before. So outside of the obvious reasons, you get salespeople that are 19 years old going home with GTRs. They're getting drunk on the weekend and they're making cuck. So outside of that, so put that aside. Dealerships that lure salespeople in with a company car, which by the way you pay. So it comes off your basic salary. So let's say you're driving a Polo Vivo, you probably pay 5 grand for the Polo Vivo per month because they use that to depreciate the vehicles. But the other challenge that you have, and we recently interviewed an absolute rock star who's not young. He's been at 2 or 3 major dealerships in the country, and he's not a jumper. I call them jumpers. If you jump like a frog, jump from one dealer to the next dealer to the next dealer to the next dealer. And the company car question kept on coming up. I said, brother, are you easily offended? He says, what do you mean? I said, are you easily offended? How thick is your skin? So now I'm testing, can I challenge this person in the interview? He says, no, Uncle Bobby, I'm not easily offended. Only when you climb into my character. I said, cool, that's fair. Perfect. So here's the difference between us and where you used to work. Where you're going to work currently, my intent for you is to grow your income and make you independent. Okay? Making you independent has multiple layers. First layer is if you grow your income with me, when you grow your income with me, if you listen and apply, you'll be able to buy your own car. Okay. Now, outside of owning your own vehicle, whether I give you a company car because he's a guy that doesn't drink, smoke, he's a solid guy, family guy with kids, I can give you a company vehicle, deduct it off your salary, and then eventually in 2 years' time, maybe something happens, you leave the company, you leave with skill set, but you almost not leave for another company that can also give you these golden handcuffs, which is a car. The challenge with that is you're already mid 30s, you're pushing 40, you don't own a vehicle. For me, that's a problem because the dealership that you're currently working at owns you. How do you take your kids to school in the morning, pick them up in the afternoon, and take them for the weekends when you don't own a car and you earn a decent salary? So by decent, it's not bad. The income is not bad. Now, what I want to do with you is get you to an income where you can not only buy your own car, but you're going to put handcuffs on me because the retargeting strategies and how I'm going to teach you to treat customers from the beginning, the day you start working here, will make you invaluable to us, which means you're giving me golden handcuffs. I need to be 100% correct with you, show up for you, and just bend over backwards for you. Make sure that I show up each and every day to retain you as part of my team. If I give you a company car and I know you don't have another car, and I know you're living on the breadline, which is it's an unfortunate reality for most franchise dealership salespeople. They just have enough money to eat and pay their rent, and they've got a company car so they can flex with a nice Audi on the weekend, but they can't really put too much fuel in it because it has to last them the whole month. That way, they have salespeople that can't go anywhere because they're used to driving a 2023 A3. They can't go anywhere and they can't buy a car on their own. So when a salesperson starts that conversation with me during the interview, it's normally, I'm not saying you did, but I'm showing you the way that you should see it from a different point of view. For me, it's very, very repulsive. And I actually want to distance myself from you because you are placing a company car ahead of skill set and building your own wealth, which is what I'm trying to achieve with you. We're not aligned. So I hope I answer your question. Yes, basic, no company car, and I think I gave you a valid reason. I traded in my X-Rider 25 for a V-Cross. It had 11,000 Ks on the clock, and I got 570 X-Rider for a V-Cross. Um, depending on depending on how the V-Cross transaction was structured, that price sounds right because it's a 599 car. So typically the dealer will pay you just under what they can sell it for. Your car, I'm sure, probably very clean, 11,000 Ks. It's still a new vehicle. I think that's a fair deal, sir. You didn't get the short end of the stick over there. I can get a 23 Camry, 30,000, not registered in SA. Tracy. So that's a big problem that we have in our country. The government does not allow imported vehicles to get registered in South Africa. And then on the flip side, you're going to say, but you guys are advertising this GMC truck for 4.25 million rand, and how did you register it? And that's the follow-up question, and it's a good one. The difference between a new vehicle and a used vehicle is huge. There's a massive import fee that has to be paid. Homologation has to happen on that vehicle, and it's a lengthy process, but it's imported as a new vehicle. That's the difference. So 30,000 Rand for a 23 Camry, like you literally can't buy a bicycle for 30,000 Rand. That's a car that will last you a lifetime. But unfortunately, it's not impossible. Nothing's impossible. Elon's sending rockets to Mars soon with people on them. So almost nothing's impossible, but that's very close to the task that Elon has for you to register a used Camry 23 model in South Africa. It's hard, man. And if you want to take on that daunting challenge, good luck, and hopefully you get it right, but it takes a very, very long time. They'll almost challenge you to the point of giving up before they give it to you. It's really, really hard. I've been battling, I've got a real life example I'll share. I've been battling to help a very good customer of ours who bought a car from us, exported the vehicle to Namibia, registered it in Namibia, and now things happen in Namibia. She wants to come back. She's in the Western Cape. It's been 3 months. I'm very good at this. It's been 3 months that I'm battling to reintroduce the vehicle on the South African e-Natus system. I'm almost there, but it's been 3 months. And this is a car that was sold as a new car in South Africa, exported to Namibia. So all the charges, the costs, everything was paid there, and now needs to be reintroduced back into the country. And I was the selling dealer, and I'm struggling for 3 months to get this right, which is a lot easier than what you're trying to do. But that's the way that the government protects the market inside. It's good on one side, it's bad for the consumer, but it's good as an ecosystem. I understand why they're doing it, and I'm for it, because if you allow those vehicles to come in here, it will absolutely decimate the used car market. It will destroy the used car market, and not even long. It will destroy it in a couple of months. It will be a wreck. So hope I answered your question, Tracy. Okay, Tabo Kikai. Hi, Bobby. What's up, brother? Butch Mao. Tried contacting you, but to no. Butch, please send me a WhatsApp, brother. The best way is to send me a WhatsApp. I wait 25426659. Shoot me a WhatsApp, and I will respond after this live. Malume Bobby L. What's up? Can you do a meet and greet in Durban, Little Dinos? So next time we're in Durban, we will do that. No problem. Appreciate you. We can come and hang out. No problem. As long as you don't make curry in a hurry when we're there. Let's take the time with it. Definitely. Okay. Uncle Bobby, how do you keep your team going with consistency in terms of numbers on the board month to month? Tabo. Okay. I suppose you're working in the automotive space. So Tabo, very good question, brother. It's very hard and it's very easy at the same time. So it's very hard if you focus on the board. Very hard, because it's the 15th. Let's say your target is 12 cars. You've done 3 cars. Basic maths is 15 plus 15 is 33 plus 3 is 6. I'm 50% of target. I'm FUCKED. I know some underage people are also watching my live, so I'm just going to keep it clean as far as possible. If you're looking at it that way, it's very hard to keep you motivated. Extremely hard. Literally, just before this live, I was on a call with one of our managers, and we had a meeting about data. So how far are we from our record month? Because that's how I measure it, on a couple of factors. How far are we on our record month in terms of vehicles sold from paid ads? The answer to that question was 2. So we're only 2 behind. And currently we're slightly behind target. Okay, so we are 2 cars behind on vehicles that we've sold from paid ads. That's correct, Elsa?
Yes.
This is Google AdWords, Meta Paid, Carousel Ads, etc. Auto Trader, cars, all of the platforms. So we are 2 cars behind our record month on paid ads. All right, so that's a tick. We're okay. We're not like horribly behind. We're not 20 cars behind. So we're doing a great job there, and we measure this month to date. Okay. Next one. How far are we from our record month in total sales? Okay. There we're 12 cars behind. All right. Where is the deficit of the 10? Okay. Next one. How far are we in terms of profit, where we need to be for the month to date, based on our record month? Okay. So there we are a couple of 100,000 rand behind. Okay. That's also a problem. All right. Next layer, and this is the one that we have control over, And this is how I motivate salespeople. What's our closing ratio? So the manager that I spoke to earlier informed me on his branch, his closing ratio is super high. He's on par with cars delivered for the month, and his closing ratio is super high. Okay, so where's the problem? Next layer. So the problem that we currently have is input. Are we far behind in terms of applications input into F&I? That's the problem. Okay, cool. So who's far behind? That's the conversation we're going to have tomorrow. So we're at the middle of the month. We've got exactly 2 weeks because the 31st is 2 weeks from today. So Wednesday in 2 weeks will be New Year's, and then it will be 2026. It felt like it's going to just turn into March. This year flew by. It felt very quick. But our current problem is input. So our problem is not we're behind target. We're 12 cars short of where we need to be. Our problem is we're not putting in enough apps at finance and insurance to be able to be on par or slightly ahead of par. So that's how I motivate people. Don't worry that you're on three. Your biggest worry, your biggest concern is your input because you can control input. You can't control approvals and you can't control 100% of closing. We're on about on the A team, the tier three guys, they close 85%. They close their deals. If a deal is approved with a tier three player, it's a closed deal. The rest is like sort of on the bottom in 65%, 70% up. So not quite at 85 and 90. But your problem is the controllables, your input is low. So pick up the phone, go in your database, in your Rolodex, on your CRM, and get apps in. Ask for referrals and speak to customers that are already in your crew. So speak to your people first because that's the easiest to sell to. It's very hard to sell to new people all the time. And that's what most salespeople are expecting. Send me leads so I can sell to new customers. Have you served your existing customers, your previous customers in a way that you've been taught so that you can go with big shiny, big eyes, bushy tail, ask them for referrals, and then they can start putting into contact with other people. So how hard is it? It's very hard if you're looking at the board, but it's very easy if you're looking at 3 or 4 layers down. And the layer that we currently, us as a company, today's date is, what date is it? 17th December 2026, where we currently need to roer ons gat. Can I say where we need to roer ons gat is push the input. We need to drive input, and that's how we'll pick up the sales. So that's the motivation. It's not the fact that you are already, 55, 60% of the month, and you're only, only on 30% of your target. Your challenge, young man or young woman, is the fact that the input's not there. There's so many apps behind. Let's get to work. Then the focus goes away from, how am I going to pay my staff this month to how am I going to get more apps? And once the focus goes into that, boom, sales increase. I hope I answered your question and I gave you lots of value, man, if you were listening. How many people are left? 10. Because we're talking boring stuff that makes you money, right?
136.
136. Ha! Lots of people like boring stuff that makes you money. Okay. Said Ludovic, right? When is the auction, please, sir? Tomorrow. So we've got kick-ass cars for tomorrow. The first car that we have is an ST Fiesta, red in color. It's going to be the cheapest ST Fiesta ever advertised on the South African market, starting at 85. And we've got a red Polo Vivo that's starting at 85 as well with 130 odd thousand Ks. So that's tomorrow. Are you looking for another E39 M5? Yassine Ibrahim. What are you talking, brother? Am I looking for another one? I can't stop dreaming about one. So if you have one, I'm indeed available, sir. 160i Corolla GLE. No, no. So one of my brothers, he helps us in the Free State area. So he's a buyer in the Free State area for us. He was on our video a couple of weeks ago where he bought the Supra, and he's always fresh, clean cut, nice watch, smelling nice, shoes are shiny. He bought a Corolla GLI from me probably 10 years ago. The car had like 100,000, 120 on the clock. His car is at probably 500,000 Ks. We just keep servicing it, cam belt, CD joints, clutch, whatever needs to be done. He's like, I'm not even halfway with this car. So they're so strong if you take care of them. But people that own them normally never ever put them in the market to sell them, because the day that they decide to sell them, it will go to a family member. So within the friendship or family circle, they'll say, listen, I'm buying XYZ vehicle, my Corolla's up for sale, are you interested? We almost never see those. And I almost had to make him sign a contract that when he's done with the car, it comes back to me. But he's a brother, he will give me the car. Uh, Somebody's great, very professional setup. I think they are speaking about the studio. Okay. How's his head? Just went from this big
Yes,
to this big.
because normally people just complain and
Yeah.
never give compliments.
People normally complain and don't give compliments. Appreciate you, Amarin Wright. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. And I hope I'm adding value 41 minutes into it. How do I register for the auction, please? So if you're not on the auction group, just send me a WhatsApp. It's my number is in my username. Just say auction group. You don't need to greet and how's it? How's the dog? Just auction group. I've got a shortcut. For me, it's short /9. I send you the link. You join the group. Once you get onto the auction group, you'll have notifications of the vehicles very early. So, for example, tomorrow morning after Elsie finishes a pictures game, whatever time that's done, then she'll create a PDF or like a JPEG image of the car, the year model, the mileage, the extras, the spec, everything. Then we'll post all of those on the group. So you've got a couple of hours to go and do your research. So typically, like that STVS that I mentioned, the cheapest one that you'll find on the internet is probably at 200K. We're starting our car at 85. It's got 200,000 Ks on the clock. So we're going to mention whatever we see is wrong with the car. Is the clutch fine? Is the turbo fine? Does the car pull? Is there like a suspension noise? Does the aircon work? Does it have full service history? All of that will be noted on that JPEG. And then you've got a couple of hours to do research and say, okay, I would love to buy this vehicle, but based on the stuff that I need to fix, it needs to cost me 120, and I'm going to spend 20,000 on the car. So my cutoff on the auction will be 100,000. So I can bid up 50 grand and buy it for 100. If it goes over 100, it is what it is. I'll keep waiting. I'll keep looking. This is just an example, and that's why it's good to be on the auction group. So just auction link. I'll send it to you. Join the group and then post everything there. All right. Desire. So, hey, auction group already coming. So as soon as the live is over, I'll forward it to you guys. Can I trade in a finance vehicle after 4 months? Sifiso, my brother, you can. Anything's possible. 4 months is quite soon. So the reality is there's going to be an over allowance. There's going to be a shortfall. If you paid a deposit, there won't be. If you didn't pay a deposit, there will be. If you loaded another vehicle onto this vehicle, the shortfall is going to be bigger. So 4 months is quite soon. But listen, man, things happen. Maybe you're blessed and your wife is pregnant and you're having a new baby, a newborn, and you bought a, let's say, for example, Polo Vivo, and you already have one kid. Now it's one kid plus a pram, XYZ. It's going to be a party then in the Polo Vivo. You want to maybe go sedan car with a bigger group. So I'm using this just as an example. So you want to go from Polo to maybe a Tiguan. So hypothetically speaking, you bought a new Polo 270, and 4 months later the car's got 10,000 K. The vehicle realistically now is probably worth about 240. So you already have a 30,000 rand deficit. So that 30,000 plus the interest is probably 40,000. So now you want to buy a Tiguan for 400. Well, the reality is the Tiguan will be financed for 440 because of that shortfall. I hope that maths makes sense and you're following my chain of my logic. Now, you need to make sure that on the second car, the one that you're actually going for, that vehicle, you can't screw this up. You can't off the phone say, I don't want a white one anymore. I wanted a gray one. Let me trade it in on the gray one. Or I no longer want a 1.4, I actually need a 2 liter TFSI. Let me trade it in again, because that's when people get into trouble, right? So the first time around, you're going to take a hiding. If you do it back to back, man, you're going to be married to that car at least 6 years. So the trick is, the reality is, the second car that you buy after you put a loan, you can't get out of it in 32, 36 months. You're going to at least have to drive the car for 48 months. So this is going to be a 4-year commitment from your side. So you have to get it right. Is the vehicle that I'm buying now going to be sufficient for the one kid and the second kid? Are we going to be able to do our things? What if I have a third kid in 3 years? That's the sort of question that you need to ask yourself. But is it possible? The long answer I gave you, the short answer is yes, it is possible. But the long answer is a bit more complex, because for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And the reaction is you're going to be sitting with a shortfall, brother. But good luck. Rainer, what do you think of the financing of 96 months, let's say on a Kia Sonet, to reduce the installment? So Rainer, great question, brother. This is why I'm here. These are the types of questions like Rainer and Sifiso, equally as good. So thank you for asking it. So 96 months has an advantage and a disadvantage. So the advantage, you gave Kia Sonet to reduce my installments. Perfect. I like the structure. I use it every day. We do it all the time. It's literally, it's something that I process with clients, almost every client. Okay, that's the positive. The negative is the following. And I'm going to speak to Stefiso's question with your question combined. You need to make sure that the vehicle that you pick over 96 months is the right vehicle for you and your family. So, and I'm going to use the baby again. So, are you planning to have a kid in the next 1 year or 2 years? And if the answer is yes, sweet. Congratulations. All the best. You're blessed. Will that vehicle be sufficient if the kid comes in 2 years? Or will I need to jump into another vehicle? Because the reality is, and here's the reaction of 96 months. Reality is this. On 72 months, at 32 months, you can come out of the vehicle. On 96 months, you're going to have to wait 4 years to break even if you do average mileage. So it's not going to be a break-even situation in 3 years. It will be 4 years. And that's what you need to, in the back of your mind, keep calculating. Can I use this vehicle for 4 years? Is this the vehicle that I'm going to be happy for 4 years? Is this the vehicle that can serve the purpose that I bought it for myself and my family for the next 4 years? If I don't want to take a crack, we can take a hiding and lose money. If the answer is yes, go for it. 96 months is sweet, nothing wrong. It's basically a 72-month deal with residual, but you don't need to reapply at 72 months. You don't need to reapply for an additional 24 months. So that's what it is, but packaged in a different way. Because a lot of people, when they hear residual, they don't know what it means. It's a bad thing immediately. And residual can be bad if you don't understand it, or if the finance and insurance person hasn't explained it to you properly, and you literally understand what you're getting yourself into once you sign that contract. This is just a lot simpler. The logical thinking is I'll have to pay it longer before it's mine. So if you want to get out of it before 4 years, in 2 years, perhaps the answer is no, unless you saved up some money to put as a shortfall. But if you cool more cigars, that's the answer to that cough. But if you're cool with driving that specific vehicle for 4 years, then take the 96 months. And I hope I helped many more people, not only Rainer. The people leave because it's again boring stuff else, stuff that excites me. They're sticking around. Tlantla. I hope I pronounced your name right. Tlantla. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Uncle B, is it possible to qualify for GTI earning 11K with a good credit score? Brother, the short answer is anything is possible. The longer version is, unless you have a deposit or a trade-in that's paid up or nearly paid up, you will go and buy a vehicle legally for about 3,500 rand. So it will be a GTI for about 150, 160, 170,000 rand. The reality is that 11,000 rand income, there's not much money left for you to maintain the vehicle. A vehicle of that price will have super high mileage and will require maintenance constantly, like all the time, bro. You know, the chances of a DSG gearbox bombing out is a reality. Unless you connect it with a super good warranty, the short answer or the advice that I'll give you, because I might give you advice, this is a free live, anybody can join it, is don't do it. Because let's say you're paying 3.5 grand for the car, another, if you're lucky, 2 grand for insurance, 5,500 rand. That's more than 50% of your income, or it's exactly 50% of your income. You still need to eat, bro. You still need to pay your rent. You still need to buy groceries. You still need to pay school fees. If you don't have a kid yet, that's okay. But you still need to pour petrol in that car. So a lot of times youngsters in Plantla, let me see, I can't see the profile picture. It's a bit pixelated. I can't tell how old you are. But you know, if you think about it this way, see it like this. Keeping up with the Joneses is like one of the worst things that you can do. And if someone knows where they live, send location. I've got lots of friends who go and black some them because that's what they need to happen to them. So keeping up with the Joneses ends up in a mentality where, you know, my brother-in-law, my sister, or my cousin is pushing a GTI, so I've been disciplined. My score is good. I also want a GTI. So in a situation like you, Tlantla, I came from a very, very different background to what you see me now. We grew up in a village in Eastern Europe, you know, not wealthy, not coming from a lot of money, a lot of means, etc. So when you start growing up and you start making money, the first thing that you want to do is prove something to yourself. So it's not necessarily keeping up with the Joneses so that I can show them I'm also pushing a GTI. It's also, you know, proving to myself. But you can't climb a ladder on step 4. What I suggest you do is look for a vehicle that you can pay 3,500 rand for. Maybe the insurance is 700-800 bucks, like a Grand i10, whatever, something smaller, but that you can actually afford and you can still continue living and you're not living for a stupid car. That's the last thing that I want you to do is like focus all your energy, all the calories that you spend, everything that goes into you paying a GTI. That's like the worst financial decision that you can make. So the short answer is yes. The longer answer is I wouldn't advise it, unfortunately. Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to mess up your day. Rather jump on step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Many customers, for example, will come in at a Golf R. They apply for a 500,000 rand Golf R, earning 15k. Okay, I'll take the app and then I'll tell them I'll phone you in 2 hours. So this is really what I do. I do this every day. I'll phone you in 2 hours. Okay, sir, I can give you the Golf R with your current income of 15,000 rand. It's a beautiful, okay? 300,000 rand is the required investment you need to make as a deposit because that's what the bank wants. Can we proceed? Have you got the funds ready? No, I want no deposit. Okay, great. Perfect. So the Golf R can work, but with the 300,000 deposit. But I told you I don't have deposit. Great. I'm giving you the option of a Golf R. That's the only way it can be done. It's legalities. So your affordability bracket is only there with a 300,000 rand deposit. Here's another vehicle that I can give you. That's a stepping stone to a Golf R. And then I'll present him with that vehicle. Yes, but Uncle B, I really want a Golf R. I'm not standing in your way, homie. The only thing standing in your way is the 300,000 rand deposit. So check under the bed. I did. Did you check in the cupboard? I did. Did you check under the cupboard? I did. Do you have a rich uncle? No. Okay, sweet. So the Golf R is out of the question. But I want a Golf R. I want to give you a Golf R. But the bank wants 300k deposit. So would you like a car? Because I can show you these two other options. And we'll process the options. And in a logical conversation like that, the customer is going to say, okay, I can get a Golf R, but not yet. So same as the previous question. I can get it, but not yet. So here's where we'll start you off. You're going to build up your income. Are you expecting a raise? How long have you been working for this company? Are you performing? Because you can't expect a raise when you're not performing, right? And people say, yeah, but I've performed in the month of November. Okay. So do you expect a double salary in the month of December? What if you start slacking? It's a consistent performance so that you can be seen and your income starts growing. So that's how I would approach the situation with your question. Good question, though. Thank you. Is it worth buying an accident damaged and RMI repaired car? Hinty, hinty. Good question, bro. So I won't answer it in a typical way that you think I'll say, no, it's not good. So accident damage car in an RMI environment where it's repaired to full OEM spec, the reality is you need to almost steal that car. So typically, let's say it's a Hilux, it's a GD6, it's a 500 grand car, and you want to buy this car for 450. The answer will be no. The answer will be you need to steal that car. You need to pay like literally like 270 for that car. And the car needs to be perfect and needs to go for AA tests and make sure that the car is sweet and there's nothing wrong. Because later on, when you want to sell that vehicle, it's not going to be a situation where you can get market value for the car. It's an accident damaged vehicle. Whoever trades it in or buys it off your hands will also use that sort of formula. So, is it good? You are your own person. You need to make your own decisions. But every decision has a consequence. So, unless you can steal that car and buy for absolute steal, and the car is literally like perfectly repaired, because things happen, right? It happens. Um, Whatever happened, happened. But you have to buy that car at an absolute steal because along the DNA of the vehicle, the next dealership will pick up an insurance claim and whatever the amount was, they will know. They will know unless you do something devious and someone doesn't check. But normally when you want to sell it to dealers that can actually pay you, they'll do their background checks, they'll figure it out, and then the price negotiation will start from there. It happens all the time. Car was pranked, comes in, we give you an offer. Yeah, but it's a shitty offer. Bro, the car was pranked. Okay, can you pay a little bit more? On a car like that, we'll have what we call a cover price. So it's not something we'll send on auction. I'll get a cover price from our dealer network. I'll say GD6, the vehicle was hit hard at the back. There's visible repair. Market value is 500. What would you offer me? Probably I'll offer you XYZ. There's the offer, sir. That's what will happen eventually when you want to sell a vehicle. So, Inti, I hope I answered your question in a way that gives you either confidence to buy or pushes you away. But you make the right decision, I know, sir. Thanks so much, Uncle Bobby. Mo Dishi Wadi Kolo, Kolobe. Mo Dishi Wadi Kolobe. Kolobe. Thanks so much, Uncle Bobby. Appreciate you, man. I hope I didn't murder your username. Love price. Is it true that I have to purchase single cab only for my business? That's a good question. So, if you are a registered VAT registered business and you purchase a single cab or a super cab, you can claim the VAT back. Okay, I'm going to repeat that again. You can purchase anything you want. Okay, but if you want to claim the VAT back on a registered business, single cab, super cab. Now, if you think about it this way, let's say we had a very nice Ford Ranger that we were chasing, and damn it, we missed it. I'm still like daydreaming about the car. They make a wild track super cab. So it's like a wild track, but it's a super cab, new shape. We unfortunately lost the car. The customer had us on a string for quite some time and then decided to keep the vehicle. So hopefully we buy it in the near future. But why I like that vehicle specifically is it's a very expensive super cab. So typically your business guy that goes construction site or plumbing business or architect, that person is normally alone in the vehicle. And if you pay, let's say 800,000 Rand for a car, that it's fairly new. 15% of 800,000 is 80 and 41. You can claim 120,000 Rand back worth of VAT if you've got a VAT registered business. If it's just for private use, you can't claim it back. But can you buy? Because the question was, is it true that I have to purchase single cab only for my business? So if the question is coming from your bookkeeper, perhaps you should do a better deal explaining what I just did. But if you didn't ask your bookkeeper and you heard something somewhere, if you have a VAT registered business, you can claim the VAT back on a single and or a super cab, not on a double cab, because a double cab is more of a private vehicle family. So I hope I answered your question. I hope you with some valuable info. I have a 2012 Jeep Compass 2 liter 142 on the clock, 89K I want to sell. Can you help me get a buyer? Yeah, sure. Send me the details on that vehicle. WhatsApp it to me, 4-5 photos with the license disc and the description, and we'll price the vehicle for you. The price sounds okay. I must say, the price sounds good. We had a similar car that we sold in Richmond for 80 and it had a bit in the management. It wasn't rough, but it had one or two holes that the person needed to fix. Needed a service with windscreen tires. Also needed the seat climbing out because those cars came out with leather. So it's plastic leather, looks like leather, but it's plastic. So they don't last long. Um, me, yo, I'm going to try. Minaputi. Bobby, thanks for advising. You're welcome, brother or sister. I can't really see in the profile pic. Blue Viper, is it better to buy new or a 3-year-old second-hand with an additional warranty and service plan? It's also a kick-ass question. It all depends. You have to factor in installment, price. You buy a new vehicle, it depreciates faster in the beginning, where a 3-year-old vehicle has already taken that initial crack. So that initial loss is already gone, and you're not going to lose as much as you lose on a new vehicle. So it sort of goes like this. It nosedives immediately, and then it sort of stabilizes and it goes down a lot slower. So if you want the new car smell, bought a brand new vehicle, the more expensive, the more it depreciates initially, unless it's on some crazy ass special. But be careful of the specials as well, because when that special is run, Ford loves to kick people in the nuts with this. They'll run Ford Truck Month, 90,000 Rand off a brand new Ranger XL. Great, they sell a lot. Then 3 years later, customer comes in and says, why are you giving me 90,000 Rand less than market value? Because that's what the car's worth. That's what they're selling for in the market. Perfect example is the Ford Territory. I had such an upset customer. Phones me, Uncle B, I paid 680 for a new Ford Territory, and Ford is giving me 420 after a year. Okay. 680, now I'm only getting 420. So what do you want me to do? Cry with you? Feel sad? How do we approach this? No, that's why I'm phoning you. So do you know why your car is worth 420? No, it's because it's a shit car. I said, no, it's not because it's a shit car. It's because the manufacturer screwed it up so much that they went and overpriced that vehicle. It never sold. The dealers were moaning. Like, you want me to, that's the challenge with an OEM dealer. OEM dealer, that's why I nearly bit. Hey, I was about a month ago. I called everybody in. I said, we're becoming an OEM dealer for a Chinese brand. Let's go. We're taking over the world. China, 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 China. Okay. I was super excited. Then I thought, okay, these guys are going to come in and tell me you must. So the moment that I hear must, it's kind of a ugly word for me. My personality is not very well suited for that because it sounds bullish, right? You must buy 22 of these cars every month. Okay. You must buy. The other problem that people don't know about is there's a dude somewhere in a group that has a bigger checkbook than me. Okay. Big one. So I have to pay for this vehicle that will sell for 679. I have to pay 630. Okay. This dude with a big checkbook buys 200 of them at 580, 50 grand less. Now he starts selling a specific car for 629. Ah, that's what we're paying for the car. You're selling it for 629. How's your maths? Well, what do you mean? I bought 200. I have to sell them cheaper because I got them cheap. So that's the first part where the OEMs are bullish. Okay. The second part where they're bullish is, let's say that model does not sell. The Ford Territory is a perfect example. We delivered a brand new one 2 hours ago. But we went and we got that brand new car for a steal because they throw a lot of program money, a lot of money from the factory. It's factory assistance. So when you hear factory assistance in English, it means we can't sell this car, so we have to discount it. So that's where the challenge comes in. Ford Territory comes in at 680, customer buys it right in the beginning when they first came out. Customers loving this thing. Now get out of the car because it doesn't serve the purpose anymore. He wants something else. Phones me, crying on the phone. I'm only getting 620. He says, sir, can I give you good, bad, or ugly? What do you want? He says, give me all three. Give me ugly first. Your car's not worth more. Okay? What's the bad? I can pay you slightly more, but I'm going to control me. I'm going to control what you buy next. What you buy. But it's literally going to cost you an arm and a leg. So rather keep your car. I don't want this car anymore. You know, it's bad taste in my mouth. That's the word that he used. And, you know, Ford screwed. Ford screwed you. Don't be upset with that Ford dealership. Be with the brand holistically. And I'm not bad mouthing, but on that specific model, they fucking screwed it up. And on the Puma as well. I had a customer trying to sell me a Puma ST line blue in color. I said to him straight, sir, kick-ass car. Maybe you're watching this. He's like, I never thought you'd say that to me, Uncle Bob. So that's the reality. Kick-ass car. Love the car. Love the way it drives. Keep your car. If you trade it in with me now, you'll get the biggest hiding of your life. It's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth on me as well. Because the car, it wasn't priced correctly. It just wasn't. They stopped selling them. Ford went and threw 90, 100, 150 grand against the car to reduce the price to get them selling. Now they the initial ones that sold at full price, those customers are FUCKED. So they are for the miners that can't spell. That's what they are. And I said to the customer, sir, honestly, from a man to a man, human to human, brother to brother, don't trade in this vehicle. It is a nice car. If it does everything for your family it needs to do, please, sir, keep your car at least another 3 years because that's the reality of when you can come out of it. So, yeah, man, that question went like all sideways and up and down. Uncle Bobby, does the winner collect the same day for the GTR? So, does the winner collect the same day? So, if you're part of the live audience at 12 o'clock on the 27th, okay, a couple of things needs to happen. We'll pull the ticket, we'll phone you. You need to produce FICA docs. So ID, proof of address, we need to make sure that it is you. We're going to check with the account number that you paid from, that account number belongs to you. Your email address checks out, everything is sweet. If you have all the paperwork in hand on that day and you're part of the audience, you get it the same day, 100%. That would actually be cool. If someone's like literally here when you pull the ticket, that will be cool. What happened with the previous one with the Merc was we found the customer, he was between Witbank and Middelburg with his family. That one was also in the late afternoon. He said to me, no, this is not real, taking a chance. Like, okay. He didn't believe that he actually won the car. Like, okay, so you're driving, right? He says, yes. Is there a safe place to pull over? He says, yes. Okay, how many minutes? He says, 2 minutes. I said, sweet. I'll phone you back. On video call, take my call. Okay, thank you, Uncle Bobby. I was more excited. It seems more legit. So I found him on video call next to the whole thing and the car and like the crowd and everything, freaking out. Everything was sweet. And he came the next day, produced the paperwork that we required. We just basically, in a nutshell, we need to make sure that we can prove it's you and it's your ticket and you are the person that purchased it. You can have it the same day. Absolutely, yes. That would be absolutely kick-ass. Him. So him, I hope it's you, brother. And I hope you have your paperwork here. Mikuti, my score is 670. I don't know if you just joined or if you heard my whole explanation on the score in the beginning. But if you just joined, I'll answer it gladly. Your score is not the deciding factor. Your disposable income after all your expenses are paid is also a deciding factor. So we get 870 score that gets declined, and I get a 583 score that gets approved. So at 670, your score is decent. It's not bad at all. The probability of success is quite high if your disposable income is in line to manage that loan. Okay, that's the short version. My phone rang. Did I miss my questions answered? Look, price. I don't know if you did, bro, but if you did, because I did process your question answer, at 7:30 when this live ends, if you go on Mitmac Motors Facebook page, so only on Mitmac Motors Facebook page, this live will get uploaded automatically, and then you can just fast forward to wherever your question was. But I think I did answer your question at around 40 minutes in or so. It was about 20 minutes ago. Okay. Shanita 017. Hi. Have you heard of any issues with the Mahindra 3XO AX5 Auto with the infotainment? No sound in the car or the digital speedometer being completely black when starting the vehicle car if it's a brand new car. So I actually have my brother-in-law used to run as a dealer principal in my dealership. So what happens with these vehicles when they get imported to South Africa? That vehicle gets built in other areas of the world. The first thing that the dealership does is a PDI. So that's when they upload all the software for the South African market. What you need to do, what's your name? Shanita. Shanita, my advice is immediately contact the Mahindra dealership that you bought it from. If you bought it from another one, contact the nearest one. Explain to them the situation. From what I can understand, it's a very easy fix. You drop the car off in the morning, and they'll reintroduce South African software on your specific vehicle. I wouldn't stress too much if I was you. This is not a hard problem. It's just software issues that's not communicating with each other correctly. So they'll probably wipe it and then re-upload a later or updated version of the software. Your car should be screened. Ernest Kubai. Is it better to get an offer to purchase and get finance from your private banker? Ernest, I love these questions, bro. Today's live has been good.
The questions are on point.
Very, very solid. How many people watching? How's this Tetris game is
I was
interrupted?
on Facebook.
Status update.
Yeah.
Feeling excited. Weekend is close. That's how's his status. Feeling excited. Weekend is close. Tetris High School, you'll never beat my Tetris High School. Skis,
Yeah.
ne? Ernest, okay. Personal banker. I'm gonna attack them, defend them. I'm gonna be you, and I'm gonna be the dealer. So I'm gonna attack them first before I defend them. Okay. I'll attack them this way. A personal banker has to do car finance, home loans, credit cards, overdrafts, checking accounts. They've got targets for each section. They are a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And I'm not bashing the human, I'm bashing the position. So as a personal banker, you have to look after all these things back to back to back and make sure you hit your target on each one. So that's me bashing them. I'll bash them a bit more because I like doing it. Just a jab. You know, Floyd Mayweather, move back and jab you on the nose. The other problem with a personal banker is that customer that goes to them is one of 800 that they have to answer questions and emails and all this other stuff. They're not incentivized in any way. When it's 3:30, they just switch off their laptop and they're fine. That's it. I'm not at work anymore. Just see you tomorrow. Like a long weekend, we had such a fight with a customer very recently. Massive fight. Pays a holding deposit. It's valid for 48 hours. Goes personal banker. Very high demand call. Sir, if you go personal bank and the holding deposit expires before you pay me, do you understand that we're going to sell that car? So you need to kick your personal banker in the ass and get him on his PC to get this deal sorted. Understand he's sweet. That guy is a machine. He walks on water. You must see him. Okay, cool. 48 hours goes fast. Another dealership sells the vehicle. I am the worst thing under the sun. I've never even met this dude. So part of being a manager is apologizing to people you've never met for things that you haven't done. That's my job. It's lovely. Sorry, sir. Based on the screenshot, Steve did explain to you the 48 hours. So was there a misunderstanding because it's in writing? Yeah, yo. Okay, so I'm gonna bash them a bit more. So this dude decided to take a long weekend, take Friday off, and come back Tuesday. That customer was livid. Eventually, through conversations, he understood my point. So we're still friends, we're still homies. We sold him another car, not through the personal bank he bought from us. So that's me bashing them. I'll defend them now. Let me defend them because I love defending them as well. The personal banker is not incentivized, which means the personal banker will always get you the best rate, the recommended rate. Where if you go to a dealership that's chasing profit, let's say, for example, the personal banker can get you 12.5 with the red bank, but the blue bank will give you 13% interest and maybe 5,000 Rand more DIC, more kickback. Now, that's where the used car industry got a bad name. Dealerships will push the 13% rate to get an extra 5,000 Rand, which will cost you, the customer, 50,000 Rand in interest, where the personal banker will give you the recommended rate up front. So that's me defending them. Because they're not incentivized, they're super slow. But because they're not incentivized, they've got no interest to lift the rate or send it to a competitor. Okay. Now I'm going to attack them again a little bit. Because you bank with the red bank, for example, it doesn't mean that the green bank doesn't want to steal you and offer you a better rate. When you go personal banker, it's one-sided, it's only one bank, it's one offer, it's one deal. That's how it's structured. Okay. When I'm the customer, so I'm going to be the customer and then I'm going to be the dealer. You need to manage your own expectations. It will take longer. You will get the best rate from that bank, not necessarily all the banks. But let's say it's a prime deal. The rest of the banks will also give you prime if you exception. Hardly ever do I see prime months. Okay, but it will take longer. The dealership will not release the car until they have payment for the car. They won't, because that's where the most fraud happens. If a random frickie comes there with a delivery note, he's got somebody on the inside that knows we're busy with a personal bank and steals the car. No. Our rule? No. You don't get payout, no delivery. Customer can jump and scream and shout. I'm not losing a 500 grand car because you're jumping, screaming, and shouting. I told you this in the beginning. But we manage your expectation up front. So you need to be prepared to wait longer to get an approval. You're only going to have a one bank approval. You're going to be one of 800 customers, and you're dealing with a jack of all trades. So I'm not bashing his skill set. He's good. He just has to be good on many levels with many customers. When you look at it from a dealership point of view, we have control over everything. So this is a typical challenge that when it's just personal banker, sweet, no problem. Here's the OTP. I challenge your personal banker that can walk on water. Yes, just do the online app, takes 5 minutes, send me the docs, and then go to your personal banker. Sweet, sweet. All right, cool. Send him the OTP, do the application. 45 minutes later, sir, this is the interest rate that you bought your previous car on. We've matched the rate. It's 45 minutes later. Have you even gotten hold of your personal bank? No. Okay, sweet. Do you want to wait? Lose the car? Do you want the car today? How's your feeling? Same rate. Yeah, same rate. So the dealership has control. They can push to all the other banks to make sure another bank doesn't want to steal you as a customer. Because if I'm a bank and I see all these customers, I need to say, okay, this is my lane. My niche is this. For example, graduates between the ages of 19 and 25, buying a vehicle that's no older than 3 years and no more than 300,000. That's who I want because you're coming up in the world. This is me processing a bank's point of view. Coming up in the world, and you are about to buy this vehicle 2, 3 years later, you're going to trade it in and give me an opportunity again. I'm going to kill everybody. So I'll instruct my algorithm. These customers, this niche, let's say there's 200,000 potential buyers. We target them. We want their business. So personal banker gave you this right, but because I'm targeting you, this is just one segment. So graduate between the ages of 19 and 25 that buy a vehicle under 300,000 Rand, under 3 years old, I'll give you my best. I'll give you prime. So you're losing the opportunity for that niche that the bank is currently targeting. And as a dealer, if I don't have control over the situation at all times, I'm not going to be comfortable giving you the vehicle unless it's paid out. Man, that was a long answer, but I hope I helped a couple of people there and I didn't bore you too much. What can I do if I'm an H2A guy working overseas and have to do finance? So, official Mace with the millies. I like your profile, man. Official Mace. So, reality is this, it's a harder app. We do between 5 and 10 per week, H2A. You can go and fact check me, check on your groups. It's not an easy app. It's a more strenuous process, but it is possible. The best way to do it, shoot me a WhatsApp in my username, just say I'm H2A and I'm official Mace. I'll connect you. I've got 2 or 3 experts in our team that only do H2As, and they'll just send you all the information that you need to complete, send back to us. It's not a 45-minute approval. If you send us all the documents that we require, it's around 2 hours, but it's not 2 days. Within 2 hours, you'll be approved. It takes a couple of hours to get you validated. It's a different process to the normal validation process. But if you send me everything in the morning, we should give you a new Ranger because you guys like buying Rangers from us. We should give you a new Ranger that same afternoon. Official Mace. 2011 Polo GTI thoughts. If it's got good mileage, yes. If it's got bad mileage, no. Because that's when shit hits the fan. DSG and Turbo and Megatronics, and I can just name more to depress you. But if it's got good mileage and you can connect a good warranty with it, go for it. Have come visit your shop. Daniel Logis, have to come visit your shop. Ready when you are, sir. We put addictive substances in our coffee, you'll be back for more. That's why I drink 8 of them a day. 8 to 12, depends. But brother, ready when you are, no problem. Who sent me this?
And Selena.
Who sent me this? It's like a little girl trying to do Einstein maths here. Okay, cool. Thanks, E. Appreciate you. Took me 2 years to register bike. I bought from the UK and a lot of hoops. Monkey me, told you, bro. It's not impossible, but it's damn near impossible. 2 years to register a bike from the UK. Congratulations on registering. I hope it's a cool bike and I hope you're enjoying it and I hope you're riding it on both wheels. Because when I used to ride bikes, my excuse was always tires are expensive. That's why I ride on one wheel, homie, because tires are expensive. Kanak wheelie. Shit. I could never keep it up for like second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh gear, but I could pop a power wheelie like a champ. But actually wheeling in third gear and fourth gear and fifth gear like that, you need an extra set of big balls to do that. So I couldn't do that, but power wheelie was my game, man. I had an O1, black in color. I used to sit on the tank because I'm lightweight. Sit on the tank and I fucking power wheelie that thing in first gear. I had lots of fun. I almost died like 60 times on that thing. Hello, amazing community. Kino, welcome. If you're new to the community, now you're part of the clan. What we'll do later is we'll prick our thumbs and become blood brothers later. That's the community you entered. You sure you want to stay? Oh, shit. Okay, Bobby. What happened with the live this morning? You guys just disappeared. So we came on for about 90 minutes and then I had to go back to my real job, which is running the 5 dealerships. So sorry, we just disappeared, brother. Do you help Investec clients with Prime minus one benefit? Yes. More motor. Yeah, Investec is one of the only banks that I give lots of credit to because their teams on vehicle finance is slick. They really are. When we do an Investec private banker deal, it's normally a couple of days the deal is done. Those guys are under pressure to perform because and I'm not going to say they serve a higher LSM customer base, but they do. It's factual because you need a certain amount of income to become an investor customer, but they also don't have as many customers. So when a conventional banker will have 300 customers in their portfolio, that Investec banker might only have 50. And not 50 want to buy a car at the same time. And the processes are really slick. So big ups to Investec. Prime minus one is what we get from them. So yeah, we do that all the time, sir. and lose money on private bank deals, but it is what it is. We're happy to have a customer. But Investec is slick. I'm not gonna bash them. And if there's what I like about Investec is this: if the dude's not gonna be there on Friday, on Thursday he says, "Listen up, I'm not in on Friday. I'm John, but Jenny is gonna stand in for me. She's up to speed with everything. She's gonna accept the docs, process the deal, do the validation, sign you up, and send the release note for you to sign. We'll pay Mithmac once they register the car in our name. We'll pay them out. We can do the deal." So Investec is double thumbs up. Best dealership, Budaf too. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. And the entire dealership works their tail to do that. So it's like a massive effort. Fish Eagle 007. Hi, Uncle Bob's. Fish Eagle, you're such a cool cat, bro. You've got the shades, 007, James Bond, but Fish Eagle. Nice to meet you, brother. Welcome to the community. We'll do the thumb brothers later after the live. I was just laughing at me. Uncle, what with a Toyota Vitz XR AMT with kilos sell for? 40,000 Ks, Vitz, and then it's a AMT, so it's an auto. Just off the top of my head, it should be under 200,000. Anything between 175 and 200,000 should be a good price. It's a nice little car. Love them. You just need to understand the AMT gearbox. So I'll make you drive one so that when you drive out, you don't come back and say, "Hey, what's wrong with this thing rolling back and forward?" I had an elderly couple. Man, I felt like a dog. Customer buys the vehicle for their wife, comes in the next morning. Older Afrikaans uncle, he says to me, the kar is gebreek. I said, broken car. Die kar is gebreek, of die kar het gebreek. I'm like, no, man. It's a Toyota, they don't break one. He says, no, this thing's broken, Bobs. Like, it's terrible. Like, okay. So what's wrong with it? He says, lots. Shit, okay. Where's the car? Yeah, it's out front here. I'm giving it back to you. I said, sweet, no problem. Let's go. So I'm driving the car and I say to the uncle, "Uncle, what's wrong with the car? Like, what am I missing?" He says, "Can't you feel?" Like, feel what? He says, "Hoe ruk hy as sy gears change?" Because it's an AMT, it doesn't change like a DCT like it changes like the old SMG gearbox. It's the same feeling. I'm like, well, this is how the car drives. Can't be, Bobs. The one you sold me is broken. I said, okay, no argument. We had like 4 or 5 of them. I said, well, pick another one. Anyone off the floor, pick one. Why? I said, just pick one. This one. I said, all right, come. Take out the floor, take out the car, drive with the car. So it's got that delay in the shift every time an AMT shifts. He says, yeah, but this one's also broken. I said, let's go with another one. Okay, third one, also broken. He says, I understand. I don't like this car. I'm not going to give this car to my wife because on an incline, she'll roll back into the other car. I said, well, it's not the car, it's the way it's manufactured. It's not this one, they're all the same. Eventually, what ended up happening is we gave him another automatic small car, a conventional automatic gearbox. But if you understand the gearbox, sweet car, no problem. How did you start your business? Man, 20 years ago, brother. 20 years ago in March. And it's a long story, and I only have 1 minute left. So I'm going to take one more question, and I'll tell the story another time. Yes, a mate does, 100%. Can be your salesman until 5th of Jan 2026. Can't I be your salesman until 5th of Jan 26? No, we don't do short-term contracts here at Mithmac Practice, brother. But I love the enthusiasm. I'll take one more. Thank you so much for that, Uncle. Push the input. That's it, bro. Don't be discouraged or depressed. Just push your income because that's the only thing in sales that you can actually control is your effort, not the outcome, only your effort. Okay, last question. What advice would you have for a first-time buyer that can only afford a second-hand Polo Vivo? I need the car for work and things to look out for. I don't know if this is related. However, I need your help. Good question, man. First-time car buyer, Polo Vivo, second-hand, good choice, very reliable. Make sure you buy it from a reputable dealer and the car's got good pedigree. So service history, it's not an accident car, it's not a rebuild car. Mileage hasn't been turned back. So reliable dealership and make sure that it's got an extended warranty so that if something goes wrong, the likelihood is very small, but it's still built, not pulled. It can break. And when it does, got the warranty to have your back and fix the vehicle. Great. Half past. Thank you so much. There's a couple more questions that I didn't get to. I'm sorry. We'll get to them next week. But between now and then, appreciate you guys. Thank you for the love. Hope I leave you better than I found you. Uncle Bob's out.